Hello. I'm so excited to welcome you to the Wellness with Earseeds virtual summit. I'm Megan from Megan Hopper Alternative Healing and the host of the Cacao Crowd podcast. Whether this is your first step on your wellness journey or your 5,000th, congratulations on taking it. And please, give yourself some time to celebrate it. For some of you, this may be your jam. Talking about earseeds, doing healthy things, touching base with your inner self, all of it. For others, maybe you have some anxiety around all of this. Trust me, someone will show you an irregular therapy point to help with that at some point throughout this event. But that's okay. It's perfectly normal to have some hesitation around something new. My job in our time together is to clear up some of the vocabulary you don't know, make you feel more empowered, and get you excited to learn from all of these amazing speakers that you'll be meeting the 19th and 20th. After all, that's what I do every week during my podcast. Love, heal, empower, and learn. So I want to start this the same way I start all of my events and sessions, and that's my one rule. 3 words. You are correct. Nobody knows you better than you know you. You live with yourself 24/7, 365. There isn't a single soul who spends the exact same amount of time with you as you do, or knows what you feel and think internally and externally at all times. You don't vocalize to everyone you see that your stomach is doing strange things that day or that your jeans are fitting just fabulously. Sure, you hope they'll notice how good everything looks, but the point is you know you because you are you. R. R is present tense, not past, not future, but staying in the now. So often we hear something and think, I wish I knew that back when I did whatever that thing was from your past that you now wouldn't prefer. But that's just it. Now you wouldn't prefer it, since you know different things. But is there any knowledge that you gained? Any lessons or wisdom that came from it? The idea of staying in the present isn't just to pay attention to what's going on at this moment without your mind wandering off to what you have to buy at the store later. It's about forgiving yourself for things in the past so you can let them go. Allowing the magic the universe can bring to help guide and shape your future instead of laying out the step-by-step plan for every 5 minutes of your next month. Staying in the present with what messages you need at this moment in your life. Correct. What is an absolute screaming yes for you? There are plenty of people who will tell us their opinion or what they think is best for us, but in your gut, in your heart, in your knowing, what is an absolute yes? What gets you excited and makes you want to smile, sing, yell, whatever, however you express your joy? What does your intuition already know is the way you want to go in this present moment? Allow yourself to honor those feelings. You are correct is all about following your alignment, what feels the best for you. If at any point I say something, or anyone for that matter, this isn't just a philosophy for my presentation, but for life. If at any point there's something you don't agree with, it's okay to just leave it there. In my healing work, I use words like God, higher self, the universe, inner guide. Sometimes someone can't or doesn't want to receive one of or multiple of those words, and that's okay. In fact, that's great. So they don't. So that's my rule. You are correct. Empower yourself to take in what resonates, what feels good, feels like a yes, and just leave the rest of it. Just let it fall away. Now that the groundwork is in place, let's talk about your wellness journey. I and many other practitioners like to use 3D, 4D, and 5D to refer to different levels of experience that you may have along your path. Today, I'm going to bring that language into your journey with Earseeds as the amazing and versatile modality that it is. 3D refers to our tangible being, our body, our monkey mind, if you will. The part of us that's sitting in the chair or on the floor physically watching this. Think of it this way. When you go to a 3D movie, the idea is to feel like you're in that world as an observer. So 3D refers to things someone walking past you could easily observe, or at the very least be told in plain language and understand. So how does this relate to Earseeds? Well, I'll use my example. My knee is messed up. I had a snowboarding injury, twisted it up in a pool, if you can believe that, and had a car accident where my knee slammed into the dashboard. I've had multiple surgeries on it. Like my grandma used to say, it can tell the weather. All very 3D things. So here, with my Earseeds, I apply it to my corresponding knee spot, and I get some relief. 4D is when you start to think about things other than the obvious, what's right in front of your nose. You start to connect the dots and ask the questions. Critical thinking comes in. Instead of eating the unidentified lunch meat somebody put on your plate, you ask what's in it, and to make sure you're doing what's best for you. You could call this the why stage, like a little kid who just doesn't stop asking why. Why is the sky blue? Why do some shoes feel hard on the bottom and some are squishy? Why do I need to sleep? The why stage. So using my knee example, why does my knee hurt? And sure, all of the totally 3D reasons that I listed above, but what about the things that you don't see that are still causing the pain? I mean, the events and accidents I listed were all momentary things. I'm not still car accidenting. It's not a continuous verb, but there's a recurring issue. Why? And to know this, you need to start thinking critically, and in some cases, have a little more training. But with knee pain, or really most injuries, there's associated inflammation. So now instead of putting the seed only on the knee area, I'm going to add points for inflammation. I'm going to add points for balance, since if I'm feeling something other than happy homeostasis, my system is out of balance. I'm going to make sure my circulation is optimal, so I'm getting healthy, nutrient-rich blood flowing through those muscles while they're healing. And I'm going to think about the rest of my body. Am I favoring one side and need to seed my hip too? Am I angling my foot weird, trying to bend my knee less? In 4D, we ask the questions. We expand our perspective, broaden our views. 5D is when we dig into the emotional and spiritual meanings of things. In this case, what is my knee pain telling me, and how do I honor that? Well, many of our common colloquial phrases come from old shamans, folk medicine, and healers. In this case, let's use the phrase, weak in the knees. When you say someone is weak in the knees, it usually means they're nervous or fearful. I am totally admitting before I got to a certain point on my journey, and let me just add, when I say journey, I mean my conscious life, when I started choosing and living in the present and being a co-creator instead of just accepting what I got, when things started to happen through me instead of to me. But before I got to a certain point on my journey, I was afraid of pretty much everything. Afraid I wouldn't be good enough, pretty enough, smart enough. Afraid somebody was going to come up behind me. Afraid I would fail. You name it. I was anxious and nervous, and the worst part, I couldn't even tell since that was normal. It's normal to always be on edge. I'll give you an example. You're headed to a meeting at work or a big interview. You picked out this white shirt that fits you just perfectly and makes you feel unstoppable. But you also didn't sleep so perfectly last night. There's a spot for that too, by the way. I'm sure someone will show you. So you grabbed a coffee on your way. As you're walking in and taking the last sip, it spills on you. Is your thought, it happens, I'll explain and they'll understand? Or is it, oh no, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. I won't get the job now because of this spot of coffee. My life is over. Well, if you're in the latter, your adrenal point is your new best friend. You're going to be squeezing that a lot. All to say, my knee was my body's way of getting my attention. It was the symptom I needed, and sometimes need as a reminder that I'm too wrapped up in all the things. I need to breathe. I need to reset. None of this is life or death. So then I place seeds at my brain points on the inside of my antitragus, adrenal points, and anxiety points to allow myself to come back to a more present, open mindset and allow the energy or chi inside of me to flow freely instead of creating more blockages. Obviously, that's just one example. Earseeds are extremely versatile and can be a great tool for everyone, from a first timer who wants relief from a headache to a seasoned yogi who wants to be able to access deeper levels of meditative states. And this Wellness with Earseeds virtual summit is a great way to expand your knowledge on both earseeds and your particular wellness journey. If you want to learn more about me and my services or the Cacao Crowd podcast, head over to meganhopper.com or find me on Instagram. I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing couple of days here during the summit and allow the impacts and lessons to really permeate everything that comes your way after. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your journey. So much love.